And we are back with the finals of the Austrian Legacy Masters. We have one grande finale of today's tournament. It's Thomas Vlacek versus Tamas Kukuchka. Awesome, it's Tron versus Esper Midrange. Who would have thought Tron is going through the whole weekend? 3 top 8s, 1 win even. This is insane. Who would have thought that Tron will get Legacy by force?
Yeah.
It's insane. Peter.
Yeah, Tamas Kukuchka's deck is amazing. We even theorized what would be bad matchups for the deck because it seems like to be so well prepared for the meta. So we said maybe it's like fast combo and yeah, blue-red Delver, but in the finals you're playing against a little bit of a slower variant of the blue-black tempo deck, which is already a good matchup in the form of Esper Midrange. Thomas Vlacek really played well through the whole tournament and is now facing a pretty difficult deck to deal with him in the form of Tron. He has some form of removal for the artifacts in form of Prismatic Ending, but the Swords of Plowshares are pretty much dead in the matchup.
And we're switching over to the deck. We told them they can start. So yeah, as I said, swords are pretty much dead. The card that basically carried the deck through the Swiss Swords of Plowshares, the white cards, are pretty much useless in this case.
Yeah, so let's look a little bit about the deck lists to see which cards could be very crucial for the players. On the one hand, with that or the Tron deck from Tamas Kukuchka, we established there's a lot of removal actually in the form of Eldrazi Confluence and Kozilek's Command. On the other hand, for artifact spells, there isn't really that much for Thomas Vlacek. One thing that we can mention here is the one of Spell Pierce, Teferi to bounce something, and then you have to stock up for the next 2 turns.
I really like Thought Seizures in this matchup.
Yeah.
When you're on the play, because yeah, you can take a Trinisphere or something. You can take an Ugin or some kind of big haymaker. Because you simply lose to those cards, right? But do you think Esper Midrange has such a bad matchup against Tron?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, that was fast.
Yeah, you have so many cards that you have to counter here. You can't let a Khan resolve. You can't let the One Ring resolve. You can't really let Trinisphere resolve. And then you still have to worry about Dugan that comes a little bit later on. So it's really a battle. How fast can Thomas close out the wins without losing all his force of will and all his permission in hand to stop the Tron of Tamas Kukuchka. He also has like 3 Wastelands to stop Planar Nexus, which is actually currently a card that would be really nice to remove from the game because it enables all the Tron lands without having the other Tron lands.
Yeah, this card is just insane. When it got spoiled, it was like, well, is Tron now viable? And then people tried it just with Urza's Tower, because that's already 4 mana on turn 2. And Tamas opted for the whole 24 Urza's land package. So we've got 4 Mind, 4 Power Plant, 4 Saga, 4 Tower, 4 Workshop, and 4 Planar Nexus. That's boom, insane. And a 1 Miser Swamp.
Yeah, you need the swamp sometimes because there's still how's the deck how's Ghost Quarter running around currently against Death in Texas. You need to get the 1 land against the Ghost Quartering creature for 2. The Phantom. Yeah, it's a 2 mana 2/1 first strike flying creature.
White Orchid Phantom.
White Orchid Phantom, yeah.
Here's an interesting piece of to mind. Tomas has wastelanded the Urza's Tower. Wouldn't the Nexus be a very much juicier target?
I would think so too, because it allows Tamas now to have, for example, here 5 mana, so he can play the Khan on 4, plays it through days, even though Tamas doesn't have any dazes, so this is nothing that he has to worry about. And yeah, let's see what he maybe gets from the sideboard, or if he lets it uptick. and then downtick to get something else, because then you can play around Bowmasters. With Bowmasters, you have for the next turn 3 damage to attack, or even 4 damage if you
I mean, a
include
Bowmaster
the
now
trigger.
kills the Karn.
Yeah, if you downtick.
Even if you don't tick any.
If you uptick, it's safe at least for a turn.
Yeah, how many loyalty does Karn have?
5.
5, okay. Ooh. Then it goes up to 6. Bowmaster, ping it down to 5. And attack is for 4. That's not enough. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, you can search something up for the next turn, but yeah. Let's see what Tamas Kukushka decides.
You know which card really, really impressed me when I'm playing Tamas, when we saw Tamas playing? That's Eldrazi Confluence. This card is insane for 4 mana. Wipe the board, blink something, or create a mana dork at 1/1. That's just, oh my god.
Yeah, the card is really, really versatile against very, very different matchups, actually. For example, the Flickering, really good against Murktide Region to reset it from an 8/8 to a 3/3, where it's not really that impressive. It kills off the Orcish Bowmaster when you have the One Ring and maybe even the token. It's really, really good also in killing Nethergoyfs. And yeah, it's just nice. And if you don't need all of the modes, you can just make some mana for the next turn for a big Kozilek's command.
Oh yeah, Kozilek's command is also a card that's extremely versatile.
Yeah,
We have seen its fair share being played.
Yeah, and here we see the Orcish Bowmasters being
After the
resolved.
downtick. Yeah. What did Tamas take?
He took a Walking Ballista to clear the board on the next turn to neutralize the game state and then pull further ahead in the game. Even though it currently looks like it's a little bit more in the side of Tomas, but I think actually if there is no
this
force
is
of
now
will,
wow, this was a strong draw here.
yeah, the Wasteland negating the card or the mana advantage on the side of Tomas, it does need both of the other Ursus lands
or
to
another
empower
Nexus.
them, or another Nexus, yeah.
But going down from that's Nexus, but going down from 5 mana. Oh, that's so. I mean, that's fine, I guess, the One Ring with Bowmasters on the battlefield.
Yeah, the One Ring is quite nice here. It gives him 1 turn protection, maybe draws him a card, and then afterwards with a Candelabra or something like that, he can get the mana that he needs to, make a big ballista next turn, clear the whole board, and yeah, Tomas really, really needs to find a force of will here.
I mean, he can ninjutsu Kaito, or the prismatic ending on the Candelabra that he now drew. That's a very, very nice play here. Get a Tameo.
And it was a kind of huge play, because on the next turn with the Tameo you can pretty much get the Kaito in. I mean, I think you're still missing a land drop to play.
Yeah, you're still missing a land drop. All the mana from Tamas and Ugin. We already see our fair share of this card.
Yeah.
So insane. This card is just bonkers.
I mean, you take for sure 4 plus 3. You take 7 damage to it, but you get +2, so you're at 9. So Ugin is pretty much safe for the next turn. You pull up to 20 life, your exact starting life total. But yeah, you are pretty much far ahead if you can put in some colorless creatures on the next turn. Maybe you can even drop a Walking Ballista for 0 just to exile a Kaito, for example, on the next turn.
Yeah, something like that. Thomas already looking into the sideboard if he has anything against this Planeswalker.
Yeah, in the sideboard he is mostly looking at Shieldred's Edict, for example, to get rid of those.
Shieldred's Edict works. What do you think about Null Rod?
Nullrod is a card that is really, really good in the matchup. But he just used the 3 mana to play the Walking Ballista. Because he can
He can
exile.
pump it next turn, so
Yeah.
that's fine, I guess. Yeah, attacking who? Ugin. Attacking Ugin. Going down to 3. So many haymakers in this Tron deck.
Yeah, let's see if he can get another Tron land. Mishra's, not a Mishra's, Urza's Workshop would be actually insane if he has another artifact now, because those lands would make 4 mana. If he can get access to Metalcraft.
Yeah. But
we have currently 7, 9, 10 mana. You can pump Walking Ballista twice.
And now you have Bowmasters. Yeah, already. Whoo.
But yeah, you're just pumping your Walking Ballista now and killing the Orcish Bowmasters. Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
You use the mana and kill the creature because you can't let the 3 trigger result.
No, you simply can't. Such a strong showing from Tron. And here we have Eldrazi Confluence. And when your opponent has to read the card, it means you're doing something right.
This card exiles now the whole board. You exile the token and then kill off Orcish Bowmasters and both of the creatures.
Yeah, kill both creatures. Yeah, and he scoops it up because that's simply too much.
Yeah.
And Thomas certainly didn't expect that this brute force of attack in the finals.
Yeah. So from sideboarding, I think we can expect a similar configuration from the side of Tamash. Maybe we want disruptive loots on, for example, the Nullrods, if you know about them, to really get rid of those, because you can't really get rid of them in any other way. Maybe you're looking at Khan's Sign of Urza to go for a little bit of a slower game, but those are kind of the cards that I would look at.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally agree with you here. On Thomas's side, it's a little bit harder. Nullrod, Shieldred's Edict. Would you bring in the Force of Negations?
Yeah, for sure. You need to answer in Ugin the One Ring on the stack.
And the Trinity Sphere. I mean, you have an easy switch with the Force Hots to Plowshares.
Yeah.
That it will certainly have to remove from the deck. What do you think about the Surgical? Do you want the Surgical in this matchup?
It's not great. It's mostly great for, okay, I got to counter like at the One Ring and then I exile the One Rings and I hope my opponent has one in there and then he has like a Ugin or he digs with Kozilek's Command for another piece of another win condition. So it's not really in there. We will see.
I mean, the thing is, because you have 2 Nullrods, World Shield, Resident, 2 Force of Negation. Yeah, the Thoughtseize are pretty good.
Yeah, it's mostly like Baleful Strix or Tamio that doesn't really pull the damage in, that you maybe want to have a Barrogoyfs to have a little bit of more threats to actually deal damage to your opponent. Yeah.
The only thing that I'm seeing that Surgical could be kinda useful after wastelanding a Nexus or a tower to simply make it harder for Tamash to get to his boatload of mana.
Yeah, maybe if...
Yeah, Tamash is running Grim Monolith too.
Yeah. You can actually see the decklist on your Twitch. We have them put into the Stream Decker, so you can see them there. But yeah, maybe with Tamio rebuying Surgically and excelling a few lands, you can get there. But I think this is kind of the cute way to be playing. But maybe it's so bad that you have to play the cute way.
That's the thing that I was going for, because this deck of Tomasz is really, really geared against blue-black, against blue-red, against any kind of mid-range or tempo-y strategy. And I think this is such a hard matchup for it. That maybe doing the wrong thing might be right.
Yeah, it's like I disagree a little bit because I think blue red is actually the deck that you want to be running against it. Because I also think the Shadow Spear is in the deck, especially since blue red can close out
No.
the games
Tomasz, not
in
Tomasz.
Tomasz. Okay.
Tomasz is geared against blue-red and blue-black.
Okay. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
I think both of those are pretty prepared against blue black.
Yeah, but the deck lists are in the stream extension. It's pretty easy. It's something like there,
Yeah.
probably. And on the other side, maybe.
Yeah. But now we are gonna shuffle it up, and yeah, we will see how Tomasz decides to start off the game. Usually you would say like on the blue-black side, you really want to have a Nethergoyf in there to pressure your opponent.
Yeah.
But yeah, we will have to see if we can start off with a Thoughtseize or maybe a Spell Pierce on the first turn to put on hold immediately on the aggression of Tomasz Kukushka.
I really like Spell Pierce here because it simply gets rid of a turn 1 Trinisphere, it gets rid of a Karn. There are so many things that Spell Pierce counters in this deck.
And one thing that we kindly have to mention here is the absence in Tomasz deck of a crucial card that we currently usually see in blue-black strategies, and this is the new Stifle effect that you can copy.
No consign to memories. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very hurtful.
This was actually a card that is really useful against it, as we've seen it a little bit in the semifinals, I think, from Tomasz Kukushka versus Alexander Meyer. And yeah, will be.
But it wasn't enough, right?
But it wasn't enough. No. It countered the Urza Saga Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Tomasz blew through.
Yeah, this Tron deck. I mean, maybe he dodged lands all day. We had some lands players, and I think lands would have been a very abysmal matchup with Wastelands, Life from the Loam, and maybe even a Ghost Quarter or something.
Yeah, it's not great, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Loaming and wastelanding every turn is the thing that stops the deck. That's true. But still, then you have to think about, maybe a Grim Monolith gets in there. And this is actually the difference between a lot of the old Keyforge decks, for example. They played the traditionally soul lands to have access to 2 mana with just 1 land. This deck completely skips on the part.
It. Yeah, it's like, well, I play my 1-drop, I play my 1-drop, I play my 7-drop.
Yeah, your lands can't do 2 mana on their own. So you really need to have 2 lands in play to actually do something.
We have found a Thoughtseize.
A Force of Will.
Another Force. 10 seems a little bit stacked right now.
Yeah.
Certainly not bad.
A Stock Up to help in the near future. I think we just Thoughtseize here. And yeah, this is the start that Tomasz wants to have. He wants to wasteland the opposing crucial lands. He wants to keep the big things out of the hand of Tomasz Kukushka.
And here you take the Karn.
Yeah.
So Tomasz is forced to go the Urza Saga route.
Yeah.
Which is a little bit slower than Planar Nexus into Karn.
Exactly. Planar Nexus doesn't really play Karn this turn because you're still missing 1 mana. So true. I think we just play an Urza Saga this turn and go from there, or maybe the draw decides to dictate the game to a little bit of another spot. But currently, I think the plan is drop in the Urza Saga, then drop in the Planar Nexus, and then go from there.
Yeah, also again reading Eldrazi Confluence.
And actually, because you said like, yeah, Life from the Loaming for Wastelands is like the key plan to stop it, I think then the deck can adapt a little bit like in the good old days with green-black depths, with Turbo Depths, for example, where you play a multitude of Piffing Needle or Piffing Needle style cards in the main deck, or even a lot more in the sideboard to deal with Wasteland.
Yeah, that's true. But then you have to dilute it a little bit. You can't play then the Leyline of the Void.
Yeah.
Or something else, and it gets a lot more, weak to blue-black Reanimator.
Yeah.
Because the 4 Leyline of the Void in the main deck is such an insane juke against Reanimator.
Yeah, and also against Upsal spells, for example.
Yeah, which we haven't seen in 3 days of our tournament.
We had actually not a single
player on Oops. That's why, because I was not playing.
Yeah, and here we've seen Lauren Revealed grabbing the third land next turn. We're most likely looking at stock up, then trying to answer the cards from your opponent. It's a little bit of a shame that we don't see a Wrath of the Skies, for example, in the sideboard.
Wrath would be awesome.
Which would be insane in clearing Urza Saga, the possible token, and the Manifold.
So many forces in the hand and staring down an Urza Saga. That must feel a little bit weird.
But it's okay. You cast the stock up, you may get an removal spell.
And another land, a removal spell, probably. It's fine, we see.
No, I think he saw now every force in the in his deck.
Yeah. But that's fine. He needs something like a Murktide Regent.
But yeah, he has a Brainstorm to shake up the hand. Maybe just a tad a little bit.
And it's just a 2/2 right now.
Then a 3/3, then a 4/4. And then you can't block it.
That's true. Making another construct.
Yeah.
Breeze. And now do you search up Shadow Spear? Or the Candelabra?
I mean, Shadow Spear is most likely still in the sideboard to get access by Khan. I think it's not really a premier card that you want to have in the matchup here, because it doesn't really revolve around creature combat. It usually revolves, and it's not a racing situation. It revolves a lot around resources, hand size, getting to resolve your crucial cards here, like the Wandering, Karn, Ugin. And so I think, Candelabra is the thing that allows you to gain mana advantage. Maybe if he had boarded in the Piffing Needle, a Piffing Needle on Wasteland would actually be quite useful.
Yeah, it would be pretty great, yeah.
I mean, Tomasz can then wait until he finds a Brazen Boar if he plays one, but no, he doesn't. So there is nothing actually to get rid of the Piffing Needle besides the second Prismatic Ending and Teferi.
Prismatic Ending, yeah. Okay, untap the power plant. 3 mana. Trinisphere, you have to force this. Pretty easy force here.
Do you force pitch force? Okay.
Yeah, you have 3 forces in hand, sure you pitch force.
Yeah, because my thought process was like, forces are limited resources for him, and forcing on the next few turns where hardcasting is a viability. I mean, you still need to find.
That's the thing. You need to find something for the construct.
But there you have at least the Prismatic Ending. You put back the 2 lands here, and I mean the Trinisphere. You can't let it resolve, that's for sure. But maybe you want to exile a non-force card.
Yeah, I mean you have Snapcaster, Brainstorm, and that's true. I mean, you have to force this, and
the hard casting force aspect would come down in 2 to 3 turns. On this turn, for example, you're looking at Prismatic Ending, and I think it's Kaito in there. You still need a solution for the next and the the next construct token that happens on the next turn, and then one afterwards. But currently you...
The thing is, next turn there are 2 tokens happening, and then there are 3 tokens happening.
Yeah, but one is stunned for a few turns, so you have
No,
some
no, no.
time to find something.
You untap. Yeah, you have to get rid of the Candelabra, because you can untap Utsa Saga and make another token.
That's true.
So you can't get rid of a token right now. That's the thing. And then your Prismatic Ending. Now Snapcaster Prismatic Ending again. Now on a token.
Yeah, and actually together with Manifold Key and Candelabra, it can be quite dicey what's maybe happening here. And now we have a Kaito and a Force of Will in hand.
Now you can stun away, probably a little bit.
Yeah, on the next turn you should stun the token. Or do you attack? No, you can't attack because there will be a blocker in here.
Yeah, you can't attack. You simply play Kaito and hope for the best.
Yeah, it seems.
Stunning, blocking, stunning the next one.
And it's actually insane how different the games are.
Yeah. I think you have to take these 3 damage.
Yeah. Down to
9. Planet Nexus is a hell of a drug.
Yeah. For 1 mana you can play a Piffing Needle.
Yeah, fetching right now. That's...
I'm interested to see what he names. Does he name Kaito or does he name Wasteland? Because I don't think he cares about Wasteland right now.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so too. Probably naming Kaito.
Let's check the Discord if we get confirmation about the naming.
And what's the needle?
Because it's quite interesting if he reads Thomas Fletchick's hand.
Teferi! Ooh!
Okay.
Awesome.
It's another good naming. You have to name
a removal.
A removal planeswalker. And is there even a card that deals with multiple constructs in the deck of Thomas?
There is nothing. Maybe Thomas has brought in Barrowglyphs, which would be...
Barrowglyph would be a good
card here. Death Touch, Lifelink, killing of the construct.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Would be, I think, even a 6, 7.
Yeah.
At least a 5, 6, yeah.
Would be quite okay. Stonewalling the construct.
I mean, you get 4, 5. Yeah, 6, 6. A 6, 7 would be needed.
I think that's possible. You have land, instant, sorcery, creature on that side.
Where's the creature? Because I'm unsure about the creature aspect.
Oh,
but
okay.
Instant sorcery, land, enchantment, artifact are safe. And now we have a Kaito.
Stunning away.
Yeah, such a stunning card.
We have force and land in hand. This is right.
A force for sure, and if he
Thomas
drew a land,
side.
but he would jump block now.
Yeah, you jump block.
Try to get some value out of something.
Out of Snapcaster.
Yeah, because then you have to attack with Kaito, try to find a card that you need. You need the surveil too, but you can't really attack now because there is a construct token and it's big enough. So it will be really, really interesting what is happening.
Another construct.
Then we get
probably another key, and
then we are at 6. Yeah, at 6, then we make it unblockable. Then you have 2 turns, basically.
Then it's over.
So it's Swords to Plowshares time. oh, he's actually playing the Shadow Spear. Because this matchup doesn't seem like a race situation where Shadow Spear is most prominent. I mean, maybe he's thinking about like there are a lot of tokens from Orcish Bowmasters running around, and the trample is something that is really, really useful.
Wow. Insane match.
Yeah, going up to 27 or something like that. 26, 27, yeah.
I don't see Thomas winning this anymore.
Yeah, me neither.
It really exploded. It looked so good, and then suddenly, bam, everything went down. Yeah,
Another force.
that was it. That was the finals. Tomasz Kukuczka has won the second tournament of the whole weekend.
Do you know what won last year's Sunday event?
It was Mystic Forge.
Yeah, so we've seen the Wandering decks win year by year on Sunday. It's really, really awesome and nice to see. We've seen a little bit of a fair deck win on Saturday. Last year with Beanstalk Control, this year with Cradle Control. Sunday is the day for the spiciness with Tron and Tomasz Kukuczka's deck. And I'm really, really hoping to see exactly this list try to win down the European Legacy Masters.
If you don't know what this is a tournament in Belgium, Hasselt, on the 10th of August, as far as I'm aware of.
Yeah.
And yeah, it features only the most prominent players from Europe. So, wow, awesome. We tried to get Tomasz on stream for a short interview and maybe talk a little bit about his tournament experience. So see you in a couple of minutes. So we are back with the Austrian Legacy Masters winner, Tomasz Kukuczka. Congratulations! It was an insane weekend for your Tron deck, basically.
Yes, thanks so much.
Is it called Tron? Do you simply call it Tron, or?
I especially want to say this is a Tron deck. This is not a Mystic Forge. I'm not playing those cards. I believe since the vaccine bubble is gone, that deck is just went down the toilet. So I have chosen to play actually the Tron lands. So I have the mine and the blow weapon. Let's call it a Tron. Yes.
It was so insane. I mean, normally it's like when you play Cloud Pose or something, you don't really have mana on the first two turns, and then you just simply make like, yeah, make my 1 drop, make my 4 drop, make my 7 drop.
Yeah.
We've seen our fair share of this. It was just insane.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I have tested the Cloud Post, and I did not like the fact that you can draw lands which absolutely give no mana, the utility lands. So I decided to go this way, and luckily me, the Ugin came and the other stuff appeared, and the deck went powerful, I guess.
Ugin was just a powerhouse. It's basically meant resolving it spelled you win the game.
Yes, correctly. Nowadays meta, people playing 1 or maybe 2 creatures, threats, let's call them threats, and trying to protect it. And Ugin is just a powerful answer after I lay down, for example, a Trin Spear.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Yeah, thank you.
So, and which decks is this actually bad against? What are your worst matchups?
Okay, my worst matchups. Right before I started to play 4 Leylines main deck, the Upsal spells, the Cephalid Breakfast, and Storm, maybe.
Storm, maybe. So
Yeah.
basically the old saying that simply
Yeah,
the combo decks.
Yes, I have no interaction in the first 1 or 2 turns unless I have Grey Monolith. I can lose easily against these decks.
Interestingly, we didn't have a single Oops All Spells player this whole weekend.
Yeah, I am happy about that. I'm happy about that, yes.
Yeah, you are now prepared for the bannings on the 13th of June. Your deck won't be touched probably. What
Hopefully.
do you think will happen on the 1st of June?
Okay, I still see a slight chance One Ring will be banned for some reason, and They try to touch the reanimator mechanism somehow, but I believe not the Entomb, not the reanimate, but some creatures maybe Atraxa. It is
Atraxa,
possible.
yeah.
It is possible.
We
That's
are-
my
we have
that's
heard-
my gut feeling.
We have heard some voices that might be Atraxa. That's true. Also a lot of voices that say, yeah, we should probably ban Days. Some voices say Tamiyo is too strong. Some voices say Bowmasters is too strong. What do you think about these claims?
Actually, Tamiyo is a pretty strong card, can fit in control decks, tempo decks, can represent a threat alone, because when time comes by, you just flip it, draw cards, slow the opponent, and win the game. And the other stuff, I'm not sure about the Bowmaster. Not everyone playing for Bowmasters,
Yeah.
so it's not that powerful card. But the Tamiyo itself is a huge threat, and everybody's playing it.
And what do you think? Because chat is asking, what do you think about unbannings? Is there something we can safely unban, or
Yes, I would go with a Senseless Divining Top. Maybe it slows down the play itself, but with a counterbalance, this 0 mana drop, 1 mana drops would hold a little bit back, I believe.
Oh, okay, I can see this. Yeah, maybe control gets then the
Yes.
push that it needs to survive in this really haymaker after haymaker meta game. And one other question of the chat: what is your lands matchup like? Did you face any lands today?
Yes, I did. And just because I'm playing ley lines in main deck, after I got 2 or 3 lands destroyed, I stopped it. There was no life from the loam, so I won the match. For 2-0.
Okay, yeah.
I was lucky enough to draw the ley line in the first hand.
Yeah, so
the first game.
Leyline MVP in that matchup,
Yes,
definitely.
definitely. They did not expect it in the first game, and I hit it on the first 7, and I won the game.
Oh, that's pretty lucky, but
Yeah, thank you so much.
just great deck building here. So speaking a little bit about the European Legacy Masters, you are already qualified when you came here, right?
Yes, this is correct. I came here to test the deck. I'm working on this deck for 2 years already, and I plan to bring this deck to the Legacy Masters as well.
Awesome. Your opponent, Thomas Flatchek, was also already qualified.
Yes, it
So
was a fun.
Yeah, so
fun
the
fact.
pass down, like in the rules of the European Legacy Masters, is now for Alexander Meyer,
It is true.
who
It
has
is
the
true.
invite as 3rd place. I mean,
Yes.
these things can happen when only strong players come to Austria and battle it out. So congratulations to Alexander Meyer for winning the ELM ticket to go to Belgium.
Congratulations to him. Yes, he was super terrified facing me in the top 4, but luckily he got the invitation after all. So it is congrats to him.
Congrats. So thank you very much, Tamas.
You're very welcome.
You have now won the prizes, or did you?
I actually won the prize. Yes. And I'm not sure what to do with it because it doesn't really fit my deck, but we will see.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Tamas, for coming to Austria. If you want to battle in the most prestigious legacy event of Austria, we will have the same next year, probably around the end of June again. So join our social media on Twitter. It's Austrian_Legacy. We are also on Facebook in Austrian Legacy League. Also on Instagram, Austrian_Legacy. You can find us basically everywhere. And simply keep you updated for the next Austrian Legacy Masters. Thank you very much. It was an awesome stream. Thank you, Tamas.
Thank you.
I think me and the boys will make a short ending words, and we see us in 2 minutes. Thank you, Tamas. It was
Thank you
great
so
to
much.
have you here.
Thank you.
Gut draußen umeinander, aber.
Pew, pew, pew.
Hello!
Daniel is joining us soon. He is still running around on the outside. Yeah, these are just now some closing words of an awesome Austrian Legacy weekend. We are exhausted, and it was awesome to have you all here. I think we were about 120 viewers on at the
At the peak,
peak.
Yeah, pretty nice. We had an awesome weekend with lots and lots of Magic to be played. We will upload all 23 rounds of Legacy up to YouTube in the next few days to weeks, and yeah, I'm pretty excited.
Take a seat, Daniel.
Hello. I just had to make sure that everybody gets their like IDs back again. I guess it was pretty important because a couple of proxies were borrowed for this tournament, and yeah, people had to, of course, yeah, make sure that they get the ID for that.
Yeah, we had 23 rounds over the course of 3 days, so
And three
different-
events, yeah.
3 events, so on 5 rounds. Yeah, it's 3 days GP in Linz.
Yeah,
Simply come to us if you are a Legacy aficionado.
Exactly. Yeah, we will do that every year around this time.
Yeah.
Also next year it is planned the Austrian Legacy Masters will continue.
For sure, maybe we can even get a bigger venue next year. I mean, that's everything on our socials.
Yeah, so definitely show us some interest, write us something on Twitter or X or Facebook. We are everywhere. Maybe even you can go to Instagram and submit a photo with your question about the tournament. But yeah,
And if you want to give us feedback around the tournament, just go ahead, do it. I mean, we are open for constructive feedback all the time.
but we won't handle the ban list for Wizards of the Coast if you have any question regarding that.
But if you want to have hot takes and maybe, not so dumb discussions, we have a response for you, and that's In Response, a Legacy podcast. So you can find us everywhere on Spotify and on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, basically. We are now at the 100th episode.
This will be a special one with a special guest. This is absolutely something that you don't want to miss for sure.
Yeah, can we reveal the special guest?
I think it should be a surprise.
It should be a surprise, but I think the episode will air on the 5th of
Is the plan?
July.
Yeah.
5th of July, so stay tuned for this. And follow us on social media. It's @response_legacy on X. In Response Legacy on Facebook, response_legacy on Instagram. We are
Everywhere.
basically everywhere. And hop onto the In Response train.
Also, of course, make sure to follow the Austrian Legacy League channels. That's where we also in this channel kind of have every activities for weekly FNM. We have a big league that also runs on the side of just this. That also crowns one ALM champion. So
Where Daniel is actually in the
In
running.
the lead, Daniel is in the lead. Daniel is competing for the last Austrian slot.
Yeah,
at the time
against
being, yeah.
Markus Schmidhuber,
It will be
who
tough, yeah. But so far it looks.
It looks okay. I mean,
Uh,
I have to try to stay in the top 10 because it's so hard when you simply can't play enough.
Yeah, I really missed my goal for this season for top 25 because I usually only have time to play in 6, 7 or 8 official events, and usually I was like 24th, 25th with a few good showings, but yeah, this times I was like able to play 3 or 4 events.
I mean, it's something, so it's not bad.
It's more than nothing, but
We wrap it up here.
Yeah.
It was awesome to have you all here, and we see us at least next year. Maybe we can try to cast something in between, but
everybody that wants to catch up, see us also at Eternal Weekend this year.
oh yeah, at Luca. We at Luca, unfortunately without Peter, but Daniel and myself will be at Luca at Eternal Weekend, and hit us up and we can talk a little bit, maybe even make an interview or some kind of video, because we made the same the last Eternal Weekend. We made a little bit of a travel vlog and was also really great, and probably we will do this again because beautiful Italy.
yeah,
Wine, magic,
yeah.
great food. What do you want more?
Yeah.
Yeah, Italy is just the greatest destination to go for any eternal events, and yeah, definitely go there, join in with the crowd from the Four Seasons tournament organizers and as well Bose MTG. I think they will make a really awesome event. Also join in their next events from the Four Seasons. I think the first one is this September, or is that one happening in like a few weeks?
The next 4 seasons?
Yeah.
Is in September, I think.
It's
In September, yeah.
Yeah.
On the 5th to 7th
Yes,
September.
5th to 7th September, unfortunately, but yeah.
It's Phil's wedding time. So we won't be there, but you will see these two guys latest at the Four Seasons, and Daniel even maybe in Eternal Mania in Hasselt, Belgium from the 8th to 10th of August.
Was fun, I would say. So
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
bye-bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
Sunday. Bye.